Hi friends, being happy as a human being is all about improving all the time. How do we know that we are indeed improving? If life were a game, how do we keep track of progress and improvements? Is there a way to find out how we are progressing and have a roadmap? Maybe calibrate our progress? The most known and popular milestone stack we have to measure the ascent of a human being towards self-actualization is the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. The important point made by Maslow is that a normal adult human being is subject to all 5 levels of need. He cannot leave 3 at home and take 2 to work. He goes to work with them all and given the opportunity will attempt to satisfy them all either at work or through work. So, in order to remain motivated right through life, we must be prepared to acknowledge the existence of all the 5 levels of needs. We need a model that focuses on the progress we are making, steps that we can build on. We find such a model in this book called Kavya Mimamsa, written by Rajashekara, who lived between 880 AD and 920 AD. Rajashekara was the teacher of King Nirbhaya Mahendrapala, a king of Madhya Desa, a part of the kingdom of Kanauj. He wrote this book, Kavya Mimamsa, in 18 chapters as a guide for personal development of poets. Unfortunately, except for the first chapter, all the other chapters are lost to us forever. However, like all good books, the first chapter is a very good summary of the rest of the book. According to Kavya Mimamsa, plotting the path towards the best we can be has 3 broad evolutionary phases. The first of these phases is called Aupadeshika, which is all that we have learned through instructions and gains a lot through recognition by others. The second phase is called Aharya, or sometimes also called Aharya, which is all acquired knowledge as we live through our lives. And this has everything to do about building our self-esteem. The third phase is called Sahaja, and these are qualities that are inborn in us and help us realize our self-potential. Everyone starts in the Aupadeshika phase. This is where we worry more about what others think of us. As children, all of us have been through this phase where a praise or a reprimand from our teacher or our parent matters a lot to us. As we grow up, we continue to look for approval from our friends, colleagues, managers, neighbors, relatives, and even strangers. This being an instructed phase in life, the emphasis is on abhyasa or practice. Hence, following someone else and getting rewarded for that is a common symptom. This entails participating in all rituals without questioning and being a good student. Getting good grades is more important than learning the subject. Watch and do as I do is the motto. Can we afford to stay in this phase all our lives? Well, we cannot, but some people seem to be stuck in Aupadeshika forever. At workplaces, we know people who sulk because the manager did not smile at them or did not say well done to them during a team meeting. There are people who feel depressed because they are not part of a team or a clique in the office, or because their colleagues ignore them. John Milton, the English poet, dismisses recognition by others as the last infirmity of a noble mind in his poem Lycidas. Aupadeshika can induce unnecessary tensions in one's life. Recognize it and avoid it. Aharya. Aharya is where we make the transition from others' domain to one's own domain. In this phase, one acquires wisdom to build on the instructed knowledge got during Aupadeshika. In this phase, what others say ceases to matter. I am my own critic, and my recognition is by my own standards. In Aharya, we recognize that each one of us could be playing multiple roles at any given time. A person could simultaneously be a father, a son, a husband, a brother, a colleague, a manager, a team member, or an employee. At any given time, one of these roles in a person's life has higher priority than the other. Prioritizing these roles correctly and deciding which ones take precedence over the other is a hallmark of Aharya. You choose a role and play it without any qualms or concerns about what the world around you thinks. One of the best examples to understand Aharya is a 4.5-hour makeup process that a Kathakali artist goes through before he goes on stage to perform. The art of Kathakali makeup has profound undertones of feeling and mood associated with it. It is cultivated not only through skill and care, but also as a ritual, so that through this prolonged process, the actor will grow into the symbolic character he is to portray through a gradual involvement. If you carefully watch the body language of a Kathakali artist during makeup, it's fascinating to note how the performer's body language changes as the face paint and the costumes get put on one by one. So also, in our lives, the preparation for the roles that we choose to play are time-consuming and complex. We can see a lot of examples for Aharya around us. First-time managers have to figure out their own style in managing the teams that they have been given. Accountants, lawyers, musicians, chefs, and teachers who started their careers as juniors will all have to go away and find their own place in the sun when asked to practice by themselves. As you move from job to job or from company to company, you have to redefine and recalibrate your role. Based on increased experience and newly acquired skills, we have to continuously develop our own rituals and leave our distinct signature on all that we do. And now, Sahaja. Sahaja is where one is completely in one's own domain. And in this phase, we encash all our inborn qualities and capabilities. In all Indian languages, Sahaja means confluence or a natural, easy flow. You're telling yourself, I am me and I am okay. I know who I am and I am happy with the way I am. We know people who have learnt music formally for many years and use this learning for their own personal joy and peace. This is despite a lot of pressure from people around them, pushing them to perform in concerts or to seek fame through their musical talents. These are people who remain focused on their own personal joy. This same sentiment drives people to quit good, high-paying jobs, to start a restaurant or to build a school. There is this interesting exercise we have done hundreds of times with groups of children and adults. We pick any 5 pieces at random from a tub full of Lego blocks and give it to the children and the participating adults with the same instruction: make a duck. In all our experience, no adult has ever made a duck with the 5 random pieces. Most of them tell us that they all got the wrong pieces and a duck can never be made with those. On the other hand, majority of the children who were given similarly random pieces worked diligently on them and after a few minutes announced, "Here's my duck." To our adult eyes, we are unable to fathom a duck in whatever the child has put together. When questioned, the child points to one end of the structure, calls it the beak of the duck, points at the other end and calls it the tail of the duck. This is fascinating. What the child is saying is that the child can clearly see a duck in the structure. The child believes it's a duck, so sees it as a duck. As an adult, if you do not see a duck in the child's structure, it's really the adult's failure and not the child's problem. The adults find it difficult to make a duck with the random pieces because they are keen to make a duck that others around them recognize as a duck. This is clearly Aupadeshika. The child sees a duck, makes a duck, and believes the structure to be a duck. This is Sahaja. There must be a lot of questions buzzing around in your mind on how all this applies to you. 1. Think about what honestly is the reason for your current unhappiness at work or in life. If it is to do with what somebody said or didn't say about you or your work, you are still in Aupadeshika. This awareness in itself is the first step towards your journey going forward towards Sahaja. 2. Map all the roles you are currently playing in your life, both personal and professional. How are they prioritized currently on time, importance, and efforts? How would you like them to be prioritized? Once you have chosen to play a role, don't be apologetic about playing that role to completion. Tell the world about your priorities. You are in Aharya. 3. When in Aharya, experiment with different roles for yourself. Do things outside your comfort zone. Keep score. Keep things that you enjoy doing. Reject those that you don't. This is an inventory of all joyful, soulful moments in your life. You have started the process of sculpting yourself. 4. Discovery of your true purpose is most likely to happen when you string together all the joyful, gainful moments of your life. Never set a deadline or a date to reach Sahaja. The urge will come and you will know. The more occasions you go out and create moments to put on that string of joy, the closer you will be to Sahaja. This whole thing may appear difficult, even impossible to you. If so, that's very good news. Robert Browning says, but a man's reach should exceed his grasp. Or, what's a heaven for?